What's up guys, and welcome to VR Escape. Once every 10 years or so there's usually a pretty big shift in technology. You may remember what Apple did for the smartphone back in 2007. Okay, yeah, phones are a bit boring now, but they have still revolutionised the world, and my personal opinion is VR is the next big thing. For those of you that are new to VR, you will not yet fully understand how mind-blowing that experience can be, so I thought I would share with you the top 3 titles which sucked me in, so stick around if that's of interest to you. I bought my first headset in 2017, so some of these titles are a little bit dated, but to be honest with you, the experience does still hold up. And after thousands of hours gaming in the 2D world and using traditional devices for work, I was super intrigued to see what VR was going to offer. And I'm not going to lie here, my expectations were low. I was expecting 2D graphics in a set of goggles. Who remembers the Viewmasters from the 1980s, or maybe it was the 1990s, I don't know. But anyway, I was expecting that. So my first headset was the Oculus Rift CV1, and as you can see, my first experience was in first contact. There I am, stood in the middle of a caravan, and a little robot pops up. So this is actually my first experience. Like, this is literally the first time I'd been inside VR. So to be stood inside a caravan, looking around me, was kind of just mind-blowing at the time. So there I am, looking under a counter, and I know it doesn't look like much, but I'm actually on my knees in my room. I'm looking up at this counter. So the feeling of immersion is super real. I mean, I actually feel like I'm in that caravan and I'm laying on the floor and I'm looking under there. Then I'm able to do things like fire these rockets. So they're whizzing around the room and I'm ducking and diving out the way of them. Then I'm able to make a gun. And I've got some targets going past me and I'm able to shoot those targets. I feel like I've got a gun in my hands and I'm shooting those targets. Unfortunately though, I just can't get across to you that feeling of immersion, and the graphics probably, whilst you're watching it on a 2D screen, just look like normal graphics. But in VR, this looks super cool. So if you're new to VR, or even if you're a seasoned player and not tried this before, honestly, get on there and give it a go. I highly recommend it.
Space, the final frontier.
Nah, you don't need real space. It's far too dangerous. However, you can use BBC Home a VR Spacewalk, which is my second VR experience. So you start off in this little room. As you can see, I'm in a spacesuit. That's me looking at my spacesuit hands. But now I'm starting to feel a little bit claustrophobic. So I pull myself up slightly, and weirdly, I'm starting to get that sensation of weightlessness. And that's pretty cool, huh? Now, looking through that crack, you're just seeing on screen, you know, what looks, obviously it's Earth, you can see it down there, but in VR, I'm looking through that crack, and that looks like a long way down. So, yep, I'm starting to feel a little bit uneasy at this point. So the realism in this game is super fun, but I did have to pull my headset off for about 5 minutes. Now at this point, I'm getting transported across to the other side of the space station. And this actually was quite good fun, because, you know, you feel like you're travelling across space and I can just look down at the Earth, and it feels a long way down. It's a little bit scary, but still kind of cool, and I feel quite safe because I'm travelling across this space station on, I don't even know what it is, to be honest with you. It's some sort of transporter thing. So you get sent across this space station to go make a repair, and it very quickly turns eerie. And then there's the big explosion, as you can see, and now I'm spinning out across space. Now I'm not going to lie, at this point I had to take the headset off. My sea legs weren't ready for it, and I was really starting to feel a bit queasy by this point. If you've ever seen the film Gravity, I think I now understand what Sandra Bullock was going through when she was spinning out into space. Unfortunately though guys, those of you with just an Oculus Quest 1 or 2 in standalone, this title is not going to be available to you. It is only available on the PC experience. I think it's safe to say we all have a pretty good understanding of what a social network is, with Facebook and TikTok and Instagram and Snapchat. In the VR world though, you've probably got 2 main applications. You've got VR Chat and you've got Altspace. So my third experience within the VR world was Space. Okay, the graphics aren't anything special, but this is honestly one of those experiences where the graphics don't actually matter. So as you can see here, I'm stood inside a campfire and I'm surrounded by cartoon-like people. And then one of them comes over and starts talking to me. Now at the time, I didn't quite fully understand what was going on in there. So here I am in this virtual world talking to a real human being on the end of an avatar. I mean, honestly, these are kind of the experiences that you can't explain over a video. You have to kind of go and do it yourself. For me, Space is a great social app. I mean, I went back in just last week, the graphics have improved, the interactions with people is even more funny now. So for me, it was only my third experience, but it was an amazing one. So give it a try, socialise in other worlds with new people, but obviously please remember, be kind to each other. So this last one for me is a real corker. I've literally spent hundreds of hours in it. Google Earth. I know, Google Earth, what am I going on about? But do you want to go to China? No problem. Want to go to Australia? Done. You can do all of this in a matter of seconds. And I'm not just exaggerating here. If you really want to feel like you've gone to these places, besides actually going there of course, this is your ticket. Right, how cool is this? So you start up in space, just looking down over the Earth. All you've got to do is kind of push your controller stick forward and it starts to fly you down towards whatever city you really want to go and explore. So as you start to go down a little bit lower, you can see that the buildings are starting to pop out. And it's quite hard to explain this over a video because again, you're looking at this in 2D. I'm actually in VR looking at it. But all I can probably tell you is you get a little bit of a god complex, but you really do feel like you're just hovering across all of this big massive landscapes. I mean, it's a super cool experience. But if you go a little bit lower again, as you can see here, now I can land on a beach, have a little look around. Now on your left hand, you can kind of see a little circle there and it's got an image in it. Now if I hold that up to my face, boom, there you go, snaps into Google Street View. So you're now stood in a real world 360 photo. Again, you can see here, take that away. The 3D modeling is pretty much spot on, right? So you can actually see that scale is still there despite being in a 3D graphical environment. When I put that photo up, again, I can see the mountain. So really, really cool. Google Street View is super clever technology. I think what it is, it's a combination of what the Google vans have captured, across however many years they've been doing it, a very long time, but also now 360 camera technology is available to the masses, so anyone can go and buy one. And I think what they've done here is people have actually submitted their own 360 images, and Google have very, very cleverly stitched all of this together. So when you go to things like a beach, where obviously a van's not going to get there, it doesn't matter. You've got someone else's 360 image from that beach that they caught themselves. And here's a little tip for you. In some cases, you can take a look at the hotel rooms before you book them. So as you can see here, this is in Amsterdam, and this is called the Student Hotel. And boom, there you go. There's my room. I can actually now go look at the room and stand in the room before I go and book it. A really, really cool feature. Now again, unfortunately, this application only works via a PC, but for those of you on a standalone Quest, it isn't all lost. There's a similar app called Wonder. It's really cool, but only allows for street viewing, meaning the experience isn't quite as magical, but nonetheless, it's still worth checking out. So that's it for this video, folks. Thanks for watching, and we would love to hear from you about your top experiences, so please do leave a comment below. Let's get a community going here. So over and out, and see you in the next one.